What's up guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be creating a game using Java. The game is called Switch, and if you don't know what it is, it's basically just Uno, but instead of using Uno cards we used playing cards because we were a broke college student and we couldn't afford Uno cards, so we basically used playing cards. So I'm going to be recreating that game using Java. I'm not going to be using any external libraries or any crazy things like that. Basically, everything that I'm going to use to make the game should already be into Java. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So I'm going to create a new project. And also just to say, this is not a Java tutorial, I'm not going to be telling you what's the best way to do this. I am by no means full-fledged expert in Java myself. This is just something that I haven't done in a while and I just want to get back into and have some fun with. Okay, so I created my project and I'm going to create a package, and this is where I'm going to dump all my classes. I know usually people have different packages for different things like their OOP objects like inheritance and stuff like that, but we're not going to be doing any of that. I'm just going to be dumping everything into the one package. Okay, and then so I'm going to create the class that's going to be used to instantiate our program basically. So this class is just going to be used to run the program and nothing else. So yeah, this class is just going to be used to execute our application or a game and nothing else. But as you can see, I don't have anything to execute yet, so let's just go ahead and create what I'm going to consider the game screen. I'm going to create a new class and I'm just going to call it game screen for simplicity. I'm going to create a constructor from the superclass. This is where all our methods and code that's going to execute, run the program is basically going to be, well, most of it anyway. I am going to be doing some form of OOP, so this is not just going to be one big block of code, but yeah, I'm going to try and make it as neat as I can. So first I'm going to create a JFrame, and the JFrame is basically going to represent the table where you will be playing the game. This is one way to do it. This is the way I like to do it for me, because I think it's very neat, but there's many different ways to create a JFrame. You could also do something like JFrame frame equals new J. But yeah, there's many different ways to do whatever you want to do in Java, but this is how I like to do it. I like to extend JFrame using inheritance, and just I have access to all the methods this way. I'm going to add the suppress wording to get rid of that orange warning error because it just erects my head. Again, OCD. So next I'm going to create a container, and I'm going to use it to get the content pane that I'm going to be adding onto our JFrame. Okay. And then I'm going to, first of all, I have to import it, otherwise it's not going to work. Boom. And then I'm going to set the background color of the container. And I'm going to try and make the color green. This is the color code I found on Google. And then I'm going to set the layout to null. Okay. Right now it's not going to show anything because it's not actually visible, but so basically this container is just going to be it's just like any other object in Java really, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to be adding all the objects like the playing cards, the deck, all that onto the container. So that's what the container is for. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why I like to extend JFrame, because then I can do something like this. So if I didn't extend the JFrame, what I would, if I had done the JFrame f equals new JFrame, if I had done it this way, then I would have to make a reference to this object and say f dot set visible and then f dot da 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 da. And you know, this is completely fine. There's nothing wrong with doing it this way. Some might even prefer it, but by extending the JFrame rather than creating a JFrame object. So this is an example of inheritance in Java. So when you use the extend keyword, you're basically inheriting the properties of a class that's already built into Java, and by inheriting it, you inherit all its properties and methods, and you can use them as you will. So that's why I use the extend keyword. I just prefer it because it looks neater. You know, this class basically takes on the properties of the JFrame, and you can just call the method. So this set visible is what would you call it? It's a method in the JFrame object, and you know, I can call it in my class because I'm extended the JFrame. That's kind of how inheritance work. And there's two ways to do inheritance. You know, you can use abstract abstract classes, or you can use what's the other word? You can use abstract classes, or you can use interfaces. So with abstract classes, I think you can only extend one, but with interface you can have multiple interface. And I think, if I remember correctly, with interfaces you use implement instead of extends, and you can implement multiple interfaces, but you can only extend one abstract class. That's kind of the difference between the two. So I'm going to set visible, set title. I'm going to give it a title. Let's see, what would we call it? So I'm going to give it a title, and let me see what we will call it. I'm going to call it game table. I'm going to set bounds. Set bounds basically means where this is going to open on the screen, the frame. If you're wondering why I'm looking to the right, I'm basically copying my own code. That's what I got open here, you know, because it's kind of hard to remember the dimensions and everything that I said. And then set default close operations, and it's just basically going to exit the JFrame when you click close, exit and close, bada bing bada boom. Okay, now I'm going to save it. Now I can't run this class from here because I think, as I said earlier, you need public static void main. You need a main method to execute a Java code. So this is where you have to instantiate, sorry, not initialize, but I guess you could use that word, but this is where you have to instantiate your program so that it can run. So what we would have to do here, so we have game screen class which extends JFrame. So I'm going to just show you a quick example. I'm going to save this. So there's many different ways you can instantiate an object in Java. So one way you can do it is just go create a new object, new game screen, and this will create a new object called game screen, and it's going to compile it and execute it. So I'm going to save that, and if I run it, boom, you should see it opens up. It creates a JFrame basically, and with the background green. Now this is, if you're creating something simple, this is probably fine, but maybe you have methods in the class that you want to access. You can still access the methods. Let's say if you had a method called dot play next card, for example, you could do something like this: new game screen dot play. I don't have a method like that, but let's say you did, you could call the class like this. And one thing I do like about Eclipse, it's telling me it's right. It's basically saying this method is undefined, and you can basically create the method this way if you wanted to. I put two semicolons. But if you wanted to call multiple methods from this class, then you would have to do new game screen dot da 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 every single time, and then you're creating a new and then you're basically creating a new object every time, which is not a good way, and it's not efficient. Also, another problem with creating a new object every time is that it actually uses up space in memory, and my brain wasn't thinking about it at the time because I was trying to write the code. But yeah, every time you create a new object, it creates a reference to the object in the memory, and the more objects you create, the more memory that you're going to be using. So you want to avoid creating a new object as much as possible, and there's many different ways that Java gives you to make a reference to an object, in order to access the methods of the class, without having to create a new object every time. So yeah, you probably want to avoid doing the first method that I showed. But the way you would most likely want to do it is you make a reference to the class that you want to create a new object of, into the game screen, and then you give it a variable. Let's say gs equals new game screen. Now this is basically, as you can see, it's similar to what I've done here, and if I was to run this, yes, it will run, no problem. But now if I have methods in the class that I want to reference, I don't have to create a new game screen every time. Remember, when you say new, you're creating a new reference to that object. So if you did that 10 times, you've basically just created 10 game screen objects, which is not ideal way to make references to a variable. But now with the variable gs, I can go new game screen dot play next card, and then I can go game screen dot end turn, for example. Let's say I add these two methods in the game screen class, and doing it this way, I'm just making a reference to this variable every time. I'm not creating a new object every time I want to call a method. But this is going to be unnecessary for now. So basically what we just did is just created a representation of the game table, and next we're going to be creating some playing cards. So to do that, I'm going to have to create a deck of cards, and we're going to be adding it to the table. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video.